Hello and welcome to Backyard Interviews. This evening's guest is Pam Mantovani, author of Cowboy on Her Doorstep. Good evening, Pam.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me.
First, I'd like for you to go ahead and tell us about Cowboy on Her Doorstep. I read the Kindle sample and was very intrigued.
Well, thank you. Cowboy on Her Doorstep is your traditional romance trope of the secret baby. Okay. We have a young couple who were lovers for one night, and he left because of family, strife with his father, and he left and joined the army. And so she wasn't sure how to get in touch with him, and of course the fact that, they weren't married or anything, it really probably she would not have been able to get in touch with him anyway. That's how, some people, whenever you have a secret baby story, they don't like the fact that the heroine didn't tell the hero, and so that was the way that I tried to bridge that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And he has recently come home because his father has died. And so he discovers the little girl that she has. And he knows, he does the math,
Yeah.
And to me that was my spin on the traditional secret baby story, was the fact that he knew right away that this was his child. And she did not try to say no, it wasn't. But she would not let him tell the child, little girl Marissa, that he was her father, because she thinks he's going to leave to go back to the army. And so she doesn't want her daughter to be hurt by finding him and then losing him.
And of course, there's all other kinds of family issues within
Of
his
course.
family.
Yes, he has a brother, and she has a friend with a mysterious past, and the main heroine, Kendall, is a deputy sheriff, so there's a little bit of a tiny bit of a suspense part of the story, because she's dealing with a notorious faction in town, a really bad guy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it sounds like a really good read.
Thank you.
And you have something here in Critters of Mossy Creek?
Yes. I have a short story in that. Mossy Creek was a fictional town developed by Bell Books. And Bell Books, as it turns out, is also who published my Cowboy on Her Doorstep. But the publishers at Bell Books created this fictional town of Mossy Creek with all these recurring characters. And so they would do anthologies. And each anthology would have a theme. And this particular one was about animals. And you had to use people in the town. And if you came up with a new character, there had to be interaction with the ongoing characters in the town. It had to be written in first person, and it was the first time I had ever written in first person, and I found it very difficult to do.
Really?
Yes, because I couldn't seem to disassociate myself with the character, because I would always think me, instead of him.
Right, yeah.
So,
I know sometimes it can be a challenge to write in first person.
Yes.
So have you published any other books? Is this your first one?
This is my Cowboy on Her Doorstep was my first one, yes.
Okay, are you planning on any more?
Actually, I have recently sold another book to Wild Rose Press, which is an online, e-store publisher. And I just turned in edits yesterday, as a matter of fact. And she tells me she thinks the release date is going to be January or February 2016. And that's entitled Courting the Butch.
That sounds interesting. So, when did you start writing? What prompted you to begin
Oh,
writing?
goodness. Unlike most authors will tell you, I always wrote when I was young and, just never tried to do a book or whatever. I never did.
Okay.
I always wanted to, but it never occurred to me to try, because I thought you were born a writer, that you could learn to be one, okay? Yeah. Now, I always read. Always. My whole life I've read. I'm an Army brat, so we would move. So if, you move to a new post, and if you don't know anybody, then at least you have friends by way of your books.
Yes.
And so that's what I depended upon those first, times when we would first move and get settled. But actually, so then I started reading romances after I had children, and I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband traveled. So we were actually coming back from visiting my brother, and I literally took a yellow pad and pencil and started writing my first story, and wrote it all longhand.
That's how I do all my writing. That's the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way to do it. So you're going to be at the Decatur Book Festival.
Yes,
Is this
ma'am.
your first appearance?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Are you excited about that?
I'm excited. Of course, I'm nervous.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but I'm real comfortable with the topic that I'm talking about, and I am sharing the podium with my critique partners. We're doing a talk on characterization, the development of characters. We've called it, Who Are These People and How Do You Know Them?
Yeah.
You know, because she and I feel very strongly, we'll forgive a weak plot in a book, you know, but we have to like the characters. For us, the characters that's what the story is about. And so we spend a lot of time developing our characters, giving them names. The naming thing has become a bit of a joke between us, because the first time we started critiquing together, she was pitching a storyline that she wanted me to help her on, and she's like, so the hero does this, and I went, well, what's his name? I don't know, I'll get to that later, she said. I went, can't help you. I'm sorry, I need a name.
Gotta have a name first.
And so she finally comes up with the name, and then she starts talking, and I went, okay, but what's his middle name? I thought she was going to hit me, bless her heart. But I tried to explain to her that sometimes a middle name can have an impact on personality. You know, because if say it's your mother's maiden name and your mother is dead, you know, passed away, then that would be really something that a character might cherish, or not, depending on what the relationship was.
Right.
So it always starts with the names for us.
Yeah, that's always a key quality in my writing as well. How would you describe your writing?
Well, I like really emotional books. Okay. If any reader ever tells me that I made them cry, I would dance for joy.
Well, that means you actually reach the reader, so that's a good thing.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I'm the same way. A book that, in fact, one of the authors that I follow on Facebook happened to ask this question last weekend, and my answer was, when I'm reading a book and we're getting towards the resolution at the end of the book, or right before the big black moment, you know, and if my heart starts pounding, it's like, oh, what's going to happen, then I know that's a really good book. And so that's what I try to convey in my books, you know, to make things at a point where everything is at risk, you know. And of course, you know, the romance is always central to my books.
Absolutely. Now I understand one of your hobbies is quilting.
Yes, it is.
So, and I one with you?
I did, and I feel like I should give a disclaimer, because what I do is I do the top quilting, the stitching.
Okay.
I have a friend who does the piecing, and then she will send me a quilt, and then I do all the hand stitching.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now I have to know, how do you get these patterns like that? Do you do these freehand?
There's a template that I can buy, and then there's what's called it's a disappearing ink pen that you mark on the fabric, and then once you wash it, it all washes out.
Oh, okay.
So she sent me this one. It was one that a bunch of material that she had, and she wanted to try this new applique.
Yeah.
Design technique, I guess.
Yeah.
And so she goes, I know pink's not really your color, but would you like it? And I said, sure, you know. And I have to say, it is my favorite quilt so far. I take it with me whenever I go to a conference, the writers' conference. It travels with me because hotels are notoriously cold.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, so yes.
Oh, this is beautiful. I love this work.
Thank you. I find it very relaxing at night. I don't do a lot of writing at night. Most of my writing is done during the day.
We can get a good shot of it. And do you do queens, large size quilts?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've done all manner of sizes. I've done wall hangings. We did she made a beautiful wall hanging that is a tree with these pheasants and bluebirds, and on each leaf I have stitched the name of every member of our family. As a gift from my mother-in-law.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, quilting is a nice break from writing.
Yes.
You spent, you know, a day or so writing, it's like, I've got to do something else.
Yes,
it's a great thing to sit and relax.
The other thing, too, for me, a lot of times, whenever I quilt, I always have a pen and paper next to me, because I find while you're doing, you know, because stitching like this is continual, you know, kind of routine.
Yeah.
And so your mind can wander. And I've come up with some great, usually it's a little short, maybe a paragraph or just a couple of sentences, but sometimes they're real gems.
I found some of the best character names while I was doing quilting or
Oh,
something
yes.
else. Okay, so what advice would you give to other writers?
Let's see. Well, my first advice would be to study the genre that you want to write. Now, and that takes a couple of different avenues. First of all, read. Find an author that you like and admire. You like the way that they convey their stories, and read. And then, craft books. And I say that, I'm sure my critique partner is going to laugh when she hears this, because I am very much a seat of my pants writer. Okay. I'm not a good student. We'll just put it at that. Okay. I've been told I'm an intuitive writer. Now, I don't know. That sounds too grandiose for me. I just write, But, and then the other thing that I would suggest, or two other things. One is join your local writing group if you have one. Here in Atlanta, we've got the Georgia Romance Writers. If you're interested in writing romance, they're a fabulous group. Especially when you get a rejection and things aren't going well, they will boost your spirits. They will give you advice. Many of them will read your manuscripts and critique for you. And then we have a yearly conference also that we put on, which we bring in editors and agents and other published authors who give workshops. I don't know if you're aware, the romance industry is so giving. We often laugh, say, they're training their competition, in essence, these published authors, but they all willingly help out. And then the other thing would be if they're available in your genre, and again, the romance industry has a lot, if you can do contests where you submit your manuscript. For instance, in Georgia Romance Writers, for our conference, we have the Maggie contest. And if you submit, it's 35 pages, and you have to have a synopsis. But then two published authors will give you a critique of your manuscript, right on the manuscript. They'll do like track changes and all that, and give you all kinds of good information. So it's very helpful.
Okay. Very good. Very nice. Well, I really appreciate you coming and doing this interview.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best at the book festival and hope to see you there.
Thank
I'll be
you.
there too.
Excellent. I will look for you then. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us at Backyard Interviews. Please stay tuned for new episodes.